is a big fan of the Kai'Sa, and yeah, you just may as well go all in. And this is what B&K Furex really built themselves around last year.
They can't dive you if your dive potion's gone for Vikla, and he's going to have to walk the long way around. It is a bit awkward for him now because the wave is pushing away from him.
Yeah, and he missed out on experience, I believe, on that last minion. That's kind of crazy.
He's just getting full zoned, and Knight is...
And there is vision here as well, so Knight might just be able to solo kill him. The Raptor's getting involved, and there is first blood for Knight.
The early lead here against the All-Star, but that is On's most played. He is super comfortable. And BLG,
oh dear,
they are looking good, and Clear is not going to be happy about this, TD.
Yeah, the turtle port coming on in, and he had to watch that one very, very slowly. Clear does get his shield and flashes away, and will be able to keep himself alive, but he is once again going back home.
Yeah, I mean, great, you got away, but you lost your flash, your TP, the wave is frozen on you. He's got a spam ping assist. You can see the assist pings coming through. If Shun stays, Clear is screwed, and he stayed. So he's flipping it. This is the top lane nightmare. When the wave is frozen on you, you cannot base in that spot. He was...
All right, let's have a look. There's a snare onto On, but he is just testing the waters, as Kellen has made his way up.
And On is going to actually look.
Flash out. Kellen knows that he's in trouble. Vault Breaker comes through. There's a seismic shot. For the world, as there is a headbutt from On to get him into the back of that Raptor pit. That is exactly where Vikla wanted to be before.
Very far ahead. 600 gold lead plus in the top lane. Hit 1,000 there. Knight's gonna kill him again.
That's a solo kill under an inner turret there, Azale. Let's see where the Knight can get. No, he's not going to be able to get out. So at least it's a 1-for-1.
So Weibo playing pretty respectfully, has fallen a little bit behind as far as the CS is concerned, but doesn't want to.
There's the flash from Bin. Had that advantage. As now, let's see where the Clear can get himself out of the way. The answer is probably not. As there's the bonk, and Bin picks it up with an Empower.
Nicely done. Bin going to be able to grab a
taking himself a dragon.
Yep, and to talk a little bit about Knight, this guy has been racking up championships. Bin, though, is maybe going to be in some trouble, but he's going to fight in the wave. This is not an easy fight here.
There's the flash off the Vault Breaker here from Raptor. He does have cease and desist, so Bin is likely just going to die here. Does have the counter strike, but it's a good Vault Breaker to come on through. There's the cease and desist. Finally, they managed to take him down, and you could see just how dangerous that was.
Yeah, really. I mean, Raptor obviously didn't want to use the ult, but they're going to run more bot.
Yeah, in the meantime, there's a Pulverize onto Diablo. Great killer instinct to get himself out of the way as Pop Blossom keeps them all busy, but they just decide they'll kill Kellen. Down will go the Cal, though, so a 1-for-1, not exactly what B&K were looking for.
Yep.
Sorry, PLG were looking for.
At least they do get one back there. But
yeah,
he was shooting for Diablo, but it felt like there was a bit of miscommunication because On was looking to combo Kellen.
In the meantime, though, we've got even more action as now On possibly in a little bit of trouble, but now Raptor finds himself among 3 people. The Cow even able to walk his way out as finally he will go down. Take that if you BLG.
The pressure up on top side. Try to play for these grubs. He's been very active on the map. I honestly really am impressed with how he's playing this. Navigating this Nico matchup is not easy, and they are now going to try to look to set up a dive.
Well, let's see where the Clear can find the perfect ultimate here as he does throw it out, but he gets blocked, and down will go the Ambessa with no real issues there at all. On turn themselves one at the same time. As Vikla trying to get the shove out here as we don't get the snare onto Shun, but the wall comes through, gets the flash, cease and desist though, delivers Raptor all the way in. That's a great shove as there's the Black Pop Blossom finding all 3 from Kellen, but Shun just gets out of there. The Cow grabs another one, and B&K just cannot side of the map, 1.2k ahead of his Ambessa opponent. Does finally have the Eclipse complete, and there isn't quite a Trinity Force just yet as he took a bit of a detour towards the Steel Caps. But we'll just have to see as Raptor now, once again, in a little bit of trouble as Knight is making his way over. Wherever Knight is, I imagine B&K do not want to be there, because this guy is very, very scary, sitting at 3-1 and 4. As we've got them defending the Drake for now. Double Dragon, pretty important, as BLG will then have so much tempo control of this game.
Yeah, Vikla just trying to push in mid. They're trying to get control of that and then maybe move him down for a play, because of course it would be hard for Viper to follow.
Yeah, in they go once again as Shun just decides he wants to get himself out of there. Diablo is a little bit scary, and so you could understand it. As Kellen towards his bottom side of the map. In goes Raptor once again, looking to clear out some vision, but down comes Viper as well. Chains of Corruption does come in. Vikula's turned up at the same time, but Raptor is already dead, and Bin now joins the fight. It's a good cleanse there from Diablo, and he tries to keep himself alive, but he is out of this one, not exactly healthy enough to help out, and that is just a dead jungler and an almost guaranteed dragon here for BLG.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the dragon. Bin trades the flash and the TP for the cleanse. They're going to go for a dive.
That is a big old Realm Warp as they get the Pop Blossom off onto one of them, but Shun is pretty happy to tank things up. That's a kill for Viper, one for Bin as well, as Clear is at least able to keep things interesting, but he'll be going down. It's a double for his opposite number, and an ace for BLG.
It's a 15-minute ace.
So Kellen just didn't quite find the value that he was looking for underneath that turret. That Pop Blossom could have been devastating, but not to be the case, and now we're sitting at almost a 6,000 gold lead. We're heading towards blowout territory here in game number 1, as Raptor will be able to steal away a dragon. So there is at least that. Yeah, not too bad. No double dragon that I was talking about.
Exactly.
Oh, really? Maybe that's what they're playing for.
The objective bounties are falling off now. Oh, yeah. That's a worrying sign. They definitely could use those.
I think as soon as we're talking about objective bounties, you're already worried. You know, the worrying sign hasn't begun. As we do have Shelly getting involved as well. She's going to get a headache, but it will be BLG taking down this outer turret in the mid lane, opening up the map completely. And B&K, what are we going to be able to do to find something? Well, we're just going to start more fights. That's going to be the plan. As let's see whether Raptor's going to be able to make this one work. Double Pop Blossom to come through from Kellen as he gets amongst it. But they're a little bit out of sync. And down will go the Nico. BLG just kind of weathering it.
Look at bot. No one is answering Bin. They moved everyone there because VFX realized this game is already cooked. You can't just sit and look for regular plays and play side lanes. You're going to bleed out. So they send everyone to try to really hard force this play, but BLG are able to absorb it pretty easily. It does cost some flashes on Knight and Viper, so there is that. But this has been getting further and further ahead. That has been Jack's 3K up at 18 minutes, which is definitely not a good thing if you're hoping for a close game.
Yep. I think if you're an LCK fan, you're probably putting that one in the cons column.
So interesting to see new representation here. This is the first time we've seen a new mid laner from the LCK in forever, as Knight maybe going to get dove here.
Yeah, there's a cease and desist. Pop Blossom comes on down there as he is delivered into the open arms of Diablo, and Raptor manages to tank up the turret successfully. Kellen probably didn't want to take that last shot, but now the rest of BLG are closing in. They do have a man disadvantage though. And Bin has teleported forward. Clear turns up as well. All 5 of B&K are in the mix, but On keep himself available with that ultimate. There's the public execution, and Shun is going to take down Raptor. They look to try and get one back, as now Shun, is he going to be able to survive? Oh my god, he is. As now Vikula dealing with Bin as best he can by dying. That's kind of the only option you really have here, is now Shun chasing down Kellen, and he's dead as well. Yes, you managed to kill Knight, but you didn't get anything else. This should be barren for BLG.
If you're looking for Knight or Bin, they both have that stasis here at pre-22 minutes. There's a locket completed. Viper's on 3 full items. So everyone is very, very strong at this point, and Shun is working towards his GA. So it is going to be tough. I mean, BFX are going to need a massive engage plus a series of incredible mistakes from BLG to really have a chance in this one. We knew this was a possibility coming in. BFX obviously have a lot of players who don't have that international experience, maybe haven't had as much experience traveling and playing at these big mid lane thing. But we have had 5 mid laners dominating the LCK for so long. Faker, Chovy, Showmaker, BDD, and Zika. Those are the only mid laners that we've seen since 2019 until Vikula qualified here, which is very, very cool. Obviously a tough game 1, but still, it's nice to see a new team, a new mid laner, a new face kind of popping up here in the LCK and showing that they can actually mix it up with those legends who have been dominating that league for so long.
Yeah. Raptor just died.
He gets killed by an early gank. Tough for a jungler when both your soul laners are getting solo killed very early on in the game. And Clear's going to try to TP out.
Yep, and he is going to be able to make it out. So there he is, able to grab himself a turret as well as getting himself away. And that is going to mean the gold lead is now smaller than it was a minute ago. That we take those,
And
looking
they
for
might
positives.
steal a Gromp.
My goodness, surely not. Well, there it is. Okay, Diablo looking to try and do the same thing. There are still plates here towards this bottom side. And bounties on the map. I mean, there is money to be made here for B&K if they can get towards these structures. As, oh dear, Kellen is going to be very, very dead. As that is going to be Viper with a last auto attack. And that will be able to take down the Nico. Not very lucky, not able to escape. And so now, without that,
no one else on his team is. So there's so many tools that BLG have, and they can just throw everything at Diablo, because as long as Diablo isn't hitting, you have no damage.
Well, Bin is going to look for clear here, as he does have the ultimate available. Changes position as they take down Viper. This could actually be a good start to this fight, as now Knight has been separated as well. It is Diablo going for something a little more aggressive than he probably should, and now the Realm Warp is going to deliver Bin to Vikla, but it's a great seismic shove to keep him alive. The Baron just spawning, though, as they lose their bottom lane, and BLG should be...
And as a result, he dies, and as soon as Diablo's down, there's no hope left in the fight. Diablo, I think he cleansed nothing, but does get Q flashed. Really nice setup there from On, knocks him right into the way.
Creating a bit of an advantage from this buff is Diablo off to the side. We're going to try and take down some of these. We do have a bit of a collapse onto Shun. Vault Breaker comes down. There is the Weaver's Wall as well to block off the reinforcements, and the GA was popped. Down goes Shun. There is at least another one, but the counter-strike onto 2 from Bin. He makes his way into the back line, and pop goes Diablo. Man, he presses W, and people die. That is just what it looks like here as Knight teleports his way in. There is a reposition from Clear to try and keep them busy, but he is now just going to try and go for a bit of an escape here, and I don't know whether it's quite going to work, because now Bin just needs a couple more cooldowns, and Clear will just be dead.
Yeah, that is a level 18 Jax. That Leap Strike is a short cooldown, buddy.
At least he's level 18 and not level 20, because that would be worse. As, all right, BLG going to break open the base here, and I think this might be the end of the game. 11,000 gold the lead, and just a couple of Nexus turrets to get BLG towards a 1-0 start in this best of 5. Pop Blossom only onto 1. That is not exactly what you want, as now Raptor just desperately trying to deal with the minions. But there are 2 cannons taking down these Nexus turrets, and down will go the Nexus here in game number 1. Utter dominance from BLG.
Countergate by killing your whole
it's
team.
Really amazing, CC. You CC for like so incredibly long, like 30 seconds at a time. It's crazy, man.
And you're going to be trying to go through the
have themselves a first blood. But Knight teleports back and immediately is exceptionally low. Vikla still with his TP available. As, okay, Raptor and Shun still trying to fight this one out. We do have a charged up Q that is going to connect. But On turning up first is going to mean that things should be all right here for Shun, and stealing away Raptor's Raptors. This is always a problematic scenario. As Kellen looking to take On for a walk. Does manage to do so here as some of these daggers are connecting, and it looks like the big Raptor will go over to Raptor this time. As, wow, anything you can do, I can do better, says Vikla, as he's immediately put into the bubble. The Molten Shield working out quite nicely, and Shun flashes away to keep himself alive, and there is first blood over to Knight. Flashes out of the way, the sickest fadeaway you will see, and another one. Knight versus Vikla. You can only teleport to minions in very scary positions with enemy teammates all over the place. I think that's maybe a change that must have happened.
They should try that one with his ear. Maybe that'll get him. The large rod isn't working, so.
All right, well, there's level 6. Bear comes down, but there is Between Worlds already. Shun turns up, and Vikla dead once again. Knight sitting at 2-0 to start this one off.
Game 2.
Yeah, first Dragon should be going over to BNK, though. It looks like BLG not wanting to try to contest this at all. That will be taken here either. I mean, Knight is going to be able to farm these plates in this mid lane.
Yeah, you got to be careful, too, because when QE comes back up, he could flash and farm the champions as well. That is a risky recall.
Well, there is another fight here brewing towards his bottom side. Is now Viper in a lot of trouble. That is Kellen locking down that killer. Shun turns up, and finally Diablo gets one at the same time. Kellen able to make his way out of 2 for 1 in the bottom lane, and these two with the best duo slight lead. But as I say that, BLG ticks up to join them. So this is some League of Legends that we have here. And he just gets away with the ulti.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit crazy, I feel like, to be a very good Nefiri player.
Yeah.
As, you really have to play on that knife's edge, and Vikla down 2 levels.
Yeah, Bin is going to turn up. There is the Grand Starfall as well from Shun, and Vikla, I think, is dead, as he's just going to get fully charged up on that Q, and down he will go. Pantheon grabs another one, and Vikla sitting at 0-3-0. This is not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the fact that it's the year of Vikla, but it's not looking like the year of Vikla here.
No.
It's the wrong hemisphere, perhaps. Something like that. I don't know.
Exactly. It's a time change thing. It hasn't
must
yet
be
ticked over to the year.
It's something like that. Clear, though, not looking like he's too worried about it. It's just going to eat the fish. And down will go On. Bin is still alive, though, and has that big old shield as he turns up. And I think they're going to have to sacrifice more than just Raptor here, as Clear is likely to be going down. And Viper is able to help Knight get a double here on this top side of the map. You mentioned how scary his...
I'm surprised that he actually went in for from the Negatron, relatively early on. And he doesn't have Tabby, so he's maybe not quite as tanky as he could be, but still, it's going to be very tough to crack. And Raptor just trying to zone them back, get more gold here for Diablo.
Yeah, man, this
really is their hope.
This turret could just be dead, as Diablo is just putting so many bullets in it. Finally, Shun is going to come on forward, and the bubble connects, and Diablo really wanted to kill that turret, does manage to get it from the grave, as in comes the train, Binder locked down. Raptor here goes untargetable for a few moments and tries to keep himself alive. True Shot Barrage, not enough, but the spear will do it. And BLG, yeah, that was a pretty good answer.
Yeah, I mean, Diablo, we talked a lot about the positives, right? About how good he is at playing on the knife edge. Sometimes he stabs himself with the knife, you know, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that felt like a bit of an unforced one where, I mean, he's standing in the face of the Pantheon to knock down the turret. He did end up getting it, but he dies for it. Your mid lane turret dies for it. You are going to lose quite a bit. At the very least, they did get a tower back on top side as well, as Bin did move and cleared stayed top. BLG will get a dragon though, so they're going to stop that soul stacking. Raptor died, and it is nearly a 3K gold lead now here for BLG, fully in control once again. And you just look at mid jungle, and that is a problem because you are getting into that territory where it's really just Diablo against the world.
It is. There's the flash forward here from Vikla, but Knight manages to get himself out of the way with a flash of his own, and underneath that turret.
Going to ramp up a ton. I think Kellen was just hoping that they could actually stop the base from Knight, but they're going to go for a dive.
Yeah, they're going to look to try and take down this turret first as Knight goes between the worlds and tries to escape. He should be able to, oh, never mind. Taken out here as it's a kill for Raptor after taking down the turret at the same time. Bin forced to flash away, but Ingo's clear, looking for an opportunity. Slice and dice and manages to pick up Shun. As now Bin not long for the world. The bubble doesn't connect. As Bin takes a bit of killing, but he'll go down in the end. And there is the B&K that we wanted to see from the LCK Cup as they win themselves a fight in the bottom lane.
Nicely done. I mean, they just hard forced there on the dive, and on is going to be okay. But mid lane, Viper has just been pushing the entire time. Viper's trying to get some gold back. When you see Viper mid, though, for B&K, there's just no reason to ever stop, right? You're just going to keep going. They got the early kill on Knight, basically dead even at this point. It is really going to be all about Diablo versus Knight.
Well, we've got Raptor going in, looking for a kill onto On. He is going to get taken down as Raptor is so deep behind enemy lines, and he just goes untargetable, floats his way out of there, and that is a free one. And the Rift Herald just did absolutely nothing. Shelly just hanging out in that mid lane, had nothing to charge into, and so just the timing on that fight so bad for BLG as between worlds Knight goes once again, but this time he is in a whole lot of trouble. Tibbers is getting a whole lot of work done here underneath this turret, and down goes Shun one more time. Plates are just evaporating from this inner turret, and Vikla survives with just barely any health. I think he deserves that one after dying 3 times in a row in the early game. It's True Shot Barrage. He's dead.
I
should never say it, man. I should never say it until he's safely back home.
That was messed up.
Yeah, the caster curses, man.
Has his Hect Optics, he has his PD, he has his LDR, super high damage build. He's very accelerated. Once he gets the IE, well, the clock kind of strikes 10, right? Like, that is where it is really tough.
Well, now he is in the front line, does have to flash as between worlds he goes, and Knight is able to take down Diablo. Yeah, that was not where you wanted to back.
No.
And now the Baron is available. BLG, they could just go for it. I mean, Raptor is in the area. He might be able to go for a steal, but that is the best that he has as far as his options. As Clear is moving over as well. They do get vision of the fact that this is happening. As Vikla trying to charge up that stun, he will have it available. As now Clear trying to get himself amongst it. Raptor able to bounce over this wall at any moment. And so they do have to have their fingers on the smite button, or at least Shun does. As there's a knock-up actually on to the Neferi as in he goes, down to 1900, 1500. That is going to be the Baron secured by Shun. And over the wall goes Raptor. Tibbers not able to help him out there as they get the depth thumbs up, and BLG straight back into the driver's seat.
Really well played there by BLG. Lazy recall from Diablo gets super punished because not only does he die, and that costs you that fight, that costs you the Baron, he lost his flash too. So now they're not even going to have that for the next fight. So at the very least, they will be able to move towards soul points. So that is something for them if they can continue to wave clear through these next couple of minutes during that Baron buff. But I really like how BLG actually secure the Baron. Really hard to be able to actually react to that and dodge that.
Yeah, Diablo is basically going to be playing defense for the next few minutes. As this Rift Scuttlet is going to be taken. Raptor a little bit in a rough spot. as now we've got Knight going between worlds, but he's in a rough position himself as Bin makes his way forward. There is the tidal wave as Raptor is out of there. My goodness, the damage is ridiculous, but On is going to get taken down. Raptor, sorry, Diablo getting excited, showed in so much trouble. Look at this guy, he's just firing from everywhere on the map. A triple already for the young AD carry. There's a Quadra making a penta for Diablo here at First Stand 2026.
Oh my God, Diablo with a penta to kick it off. That's the game.
Yeah, that should be it. We were saying he should probably wait until that flash is available. Never mind, let's just get a pentakill and call it a day from there, evening up the series to bring us to a best of 3 between BLG and B&K. And this is what we wanted to see from this young squad. As B&K, they came to play. Those sillies well and truly shaken out, and the Nexus is also going to be taken down here as well. Wasn't the greatest out of Vikla in the early game, but it is Diablo finishing it off. And B&K able to make their mark in this best of 5.
They're going to be looking for. So we'll see if he can find some success here. Vikla on the Mel, which I think is going to be a pretty interesting game.
Even footing. I'd be very frightened for B&K's chances.
And this is a big change for, oh gosh, that's not good.
Vikla may start his dying a little bit early this time around, wants to get it out of the way, and there is another first blood for Knight.
This wraparound though.
Oh yeah, Shun making his way in. Viper looking a little worse for wear. There's the flash forward. They want to just try and kill him before this one even happens. The flash out of the way is now Viper able to be taken down here by Diablo. Avoids the turret. It is going to be a 1-for-1. But Diablo, I think, pretty happy with picking up the first one here for B&K.
No kidding. I mean, Viper has, I'm just going to say he's played horribly in these first 2 games, and now in the third as well, it feels like some pretty big mistakes. I mean, you think back to, Ana's going to die.
Yeah, he's a Yumi. He doesn't.
His barrier.
Yeah, there's barriers already there. He canceled the auto attack, so that's not great. So he's dead.
Okay, well, he does stay alive.
Outplayed is there. This bottom lane.
Raptor's going to cancel his base. They're going to try to make this go really long. He is there behind him.
Yeah, there's a paranoia. Flash comes on forward here as there is no ulti from Clear, so he couldn't get himself over the wall. So that's a 1-for-1. That's a big one for Bin.
Yeah, that is honestly really good for Bin at the end of the day. It's a trade of flashes. You get a 1-for-1. Your team gets to do Dragon on the bot side. I'm kind of surprised they forced it that hard.
Oh, there's the all-in here on this bottom side as well for BLG. It's Diablo in a lot of trouble, has to flash to get underneath the safety of the turret. There's no kill, but it is still a lot of pressure put on here by BLG.
Yeah, and that is that level 6 advantage for On. He has the ult where Kellen does not. So even once they get the cleanse off Viper, there's no encore to come through. That meant that Diablo had to flash away. So a good bit of pressure there. Raptor would have to ult Viper from, right? So they're saying, okay, we got to keep Viper safe. All of these wards through the entire bot side, wards in the river, 3 in the enemy jungle, a pink there down on that bot side as well.
Oh, Arrow connects from downtown. Paranoia comes through once again. It's Clear. He can't take the turret for much longer than that, but he doesn't need to as Raptor will take the last one, and down goes the Rumble. This time, the dive work.
Kobe on the stage, and the rest is history.
Yeah, there we go. Beautifully done. That is going to be the first turret taken down as well. So B&K a lot more money, but now BLG to try and fight back. There's the Cyclone onto Diablo. He flashes out of the way. A great encore here from Kellen defensively as the final chapter comes down, but I don't know about that timing as Viper throws in his ulti as well, and now Clear comes in with a huge shield, but Knight's down as well. The charm is going to miss though, and Diablo is doing his very best to get out of the way of every ability thrown at him, and nothing's going to stick.
Nicely done there by Diablo. Important sidesteps, but now Vikla's moving down here on the Mel. They want to continue the fight because Raptor and Clear are very healthy.
Yeah, there are so many buttons now on cooldown as well on either side. But Clear also wants to get some value out of this teleport that he just used to get towards this bottom side. Could be a dragon being taken as a Hex Tech is now up and available. Would be able to even out the dragons here, and it looks like B&K are going to settle for that.
Yep, and he had a lot of time because he had that wave push so deep, right? They had taken the top lane tier 1, so they got first tower. He had pushed it all the way to the tier 2. He's going to be losing plates now. It is Vikla looking like he's going to go up and answer that. So there is a cost to this. Bin is going to get some money, but still, you get down towards the bot side, you get that dragon, that's going to feel nice.
Well, you got an exhaust down onto Raptor, who flashes out of the way. Over the wall goes Viper, though, and oh dear, the shutdown comes in. It's not a kill for the Zeri. That is probably good news if you're a B&K fan. On their terms, and I think, like, we talk about this, but I think it's going to be who has the fights on their terms that is going to be able to win. So tempo going to be such a huge thing in this game. As Vikla, I don't know about that position as he flashes to get himself out of the way. There's a paranoia as they just turn it onto Raptor. Does have that shield. Oh dear, okay, that is a lot of damage as they go 1-for-1. Now the flash on in as Viper looking for it onto Diablo, but he has the shield. He had the barrier, and Kellen's able to pick up the kill. Now the cat doesn't have a friend anymore. There's a fight on the bottom side of the map as well, picture in picture, but you've got to see this monkey making his way out of the pit. Shun is going to survive, and it looks like Clear is okay as well. There
gets the Herald. He's getting really, really strong, but Viper just looking a bit out of sorts as Diablo just popped that barrier. They're going to try to run down
Maybe if you've got a
Vikla.
name that starts with V, it's just a bit of a rough day. As we can see, Vikla down the red carpet and will just be dead. On is going to steal that kill away. We're all about not giving kills over to the right people in certain minions, so it should be B&K able to open up the map here with this mid lane out of turret.
Yep, that is great. Going to be able to knock down another tower, push Diablo out of the fight, push Vikla out of the fight. And Vikla, his positioning has not been perfect by any means. They're going to look for a dive.
Yeah, he may just be dead as the riposte does come on through, but it's not going to do anything at all. However, he has the ulti down. That is so many stacks, and that's a flash needed from Knight to get himself out of the fight. And Shun's going to be taken out. The revenge of Vikla has happened. And now Knight is going to have to try and get himself out of the enemy jungle.
Might be time to check your clocks because it's looking like it's the year of Vikla.
I'm looking at my calendar. We had a little bit of a moment at the beginning of the day, but it was just the wrong timing. Knight will be taken out. Raptor is able to finish that one off.
Yeah,
monkeys, you do have to be careful of them.
You do have to be careful.
All right, so Mountain Drake, it's going to be a Mountain Soul this game, and I think that if B&K managed to get a Mountain Soul, it might just be game over, because I don't pretty obnoxious in this game, as Vikla does tank a Prowling Projectile, but Shun not too keen on making any more engage happen. As the Rich Herald may just die again. Never mind, does manage to get a charge, but there's the final chapter. Not exactly doing too much of anything at all. Clear making his way in with the teleport. Let's see whether this wraparound is going to work as he finds a great flank angle, pushes the Wukong out of the way as the Q doesn't land from Vikla, but Knight is kind of out of this fight, and Clear is just kind of by himself and not taking damage.
Yeah, not taking damage, but not really doing any either. BLG do get pushed back, but it was the TP off Clear for really not much of anything.
Well, not yet anyway, as they're continuing to fight here. There's the all-out as Shun getting pulled back. The equalizer is fantastic as Raptor is just going to get taken down. The volley is hurting a little bit here, but it's BLG that draw first blood in the fight as Vikla gets in, finds the overwhelm to take down this Rumble as they get vision of Shun, slowed down by the volley. Prowling Projectile onto Diablo as the extender beam. Now, I don't think they want to be diving as Zeri. That's the time where she kills all of you and you lose the game.
Yeah, you got to be careful about that. It felt like a bit of an overforce from Clear. He TP'd in, and he just seemed so hungry to try to find something. Then it looked like they actually had finally found something as Shun was staying around. I mean, Shun is just messing with Raptor there, trying to knock that down. Has to retreat back, but he used the clone to try to get away. The equalizer here, though, was so problematic for BFX because Diablo can't even walk into the fight. He's got to walk back the entire way around. And Diablo, though, as we're back to live, looking for 1v2.
There's 3 people here, Diablo. What are we doing? That was crazy, but he did almost manage to get a kill. So maybe we say that it could have been worth, and sometimes things don't work out. In fact, Knight might check it, but this is gone.
It is gone. But we'll see the fight after, because now they know, and BLG are coming, but Bin has his TP. They're going to go.
Yep, Extender Beam does come on down. As we do have a snare that is going to hold them in position. Final chapter does come on forward as they're looking for the Wukong, but he gets stunned up, just destroyed by Vikla. And now, BLG also going to lose the fight. They get on in there. Knight takes so much damage as Diablo just shoots him. And yeah, they managed to take down the Ashe, but Diablo's not the main character this time around as it's a triple for Vikla. Make that one a quadra. Oh my god, that's an ace for B&K!
It's the year of Vikla, baby!
I guess it is! You know what? It's exactly what we were talking about. He got it out of the way early this time!
Yeah!
You know, just do it before the laning phases even happened. As now Clear, we were talking about his immortality. We do have a dragon up and available for BNK. That'd be Soul Point, and Double Mountain is already just so many stats to try and get through on this Cassante.
You know, next game, maybe he could ask Knight for a quick 1v1, get solo killed before the game starts.
That's an in-practice tool.
In-practice tool, exactly. That would be crazy.
That'd be the tactic. We'll have to let Vikla know. As Shun looking for a little bit of a wraparound, should be able to get into position as the equalizer is good from Bin. At the same time, the encore is also fantastic. It's another kill as Vikla goes godlike. They get into the backline. The Mel is taken out as it's a double for the Zeri and make that one a triple. Never mind. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you make as long as you find your window to get that certification. It can work as he does need to be a little bit careful here as the bottom lane are still alive. Bin needs to find some of these harpoons. Look, Diablo just wants to walk up. Yep. It doesn't matter the scenario.
His sidesteps have been so good. Sidestep a couple skill shots in a row there, but BLG retreating away into this tower are going to be able to knock that down. It was a great reflect from this one from Vikla. He got to reflect on the charm onto Knight. Knight got charmed up, got burst down early on. So even with that equalizer that looked pretty much perfect from Bin, this fight is just continuing. Equalizer is back.
Yeah, Equalizer does come down. It's not doing a whole lot.
Knight
his inner turret is also down. Kellen has to tank up the prowling projectile. Bin looking a little worse for wear, but gets that flame spitter onto Diablo. And now Knight is back like you were talking about, but so is Vikla looking to try and take down Bin. He just explodes at the start of this fight, but it's 2 for Knight. Just dashes after them and takes them down in what was the weirdest League of Legends I'd seen in a really long time. Now as Vikla continues the fight, there is a Foxy lady for On to join with, and now back on over to Viper as final chapter's up again. And now Shun looking for a little bit of an angle. 7 seconds on that Cyclone as you've got Raptor coming in. Does make them a little bit afraid as Viper gets himself back into position. And Raptor is the target they're looking for. He dashes over the Cyclone and Vikla does it again! Viper just explodes one more time! Same thing to be said though as the Mel is taken down. This is one of the longest team fights I have ever casted in my life as they've respawned and they're back into it once again. This time it's Clear going all out against BLG. And
Head of Diablo, who will still have a lot of threat, and Kellen does have his Mikhails, so it's the Reflect you have to deal with for the Charm. There's also the Mikhails now. It is going to be very difficult for Knight, and he has been struggling in this game.
Vikla doesn't have a lot of buttons left, but Viper once again goes in, and his health bar just evaporates. As there's the paranoia, you can see Raptor still looking for an opportunity. For the rest of BLG, they do collapse around their AD carry, but Clear just says no. Just kills Bin. In goes Shun, and just down to his GA immediately. BK just taking them down one after the other as finally Viper goes in, finds one, but then Diablo stands his ground and murders him. On this time, he's not going to survive, and it's a multi-kill, a quadra for the Cassante of Clear.
Clear saw what Diablo did, what Vikla did. He wants to get involved too. How about a quadra for Cassante and a win for FearX?
What the heck was that? Brilliant team fighting here from BNK. They'll take down this mid inhibitor once again. And one more time, it is just a waltz through the mid lane in order to take down the Nexus. BNK reaching match point in their first best of 5 of First Stand 2026.
What a way to do it, man. Talking about, I will say there's not really a great delivery system. Your hard engage is, I guess, Gnar getting behind them, and then you Galio ult in.
Trundle wander in. We actually, we saw...
You drop the cage on your head against the wall somewhat, and it's like, what are they going to do? Flash into the cage? Like, you should be able to get out, but we'll see if Vikla...
Yeah, Vikla is going to channel the taunt here. It does taunt up the tree, but is now running the wrong direction. So I think it might be another First Blood scenario. This time going... Never mind. Okay, Justice Punch. Vikla is wandering.
Buddy. Don't speak too soon.
He's wandering. Oh no, the sapling! Run! Run, Galio! Is it gonna hit? It does. He's slowed down, and there is the twisted advance. A very delayed First Blood, but once again, but not to his lane opponent.
It's the jungler's fault. Raptor, come on, bro. Knight didn't even get an assist. What are you talking about?
Wait, he just delivered Shun to the top lane, and now Clear is dead. What is that? Okay, and Bin is able to get himself out to the map, so they do spot out the tree and look to move away. Raptor and Vikla now looking for this scuttle crab at Knight in good position. Does dash on forward, finds some chains. We've got fights on multiple angles, though, as the Gnar comes through onto Bin. And now you've got Kellen roaming up as well. Let's see whether he can find himself an angle, as Raptor going to be the first target here for BLG. But the King's Tribute, the subjugation working out so well. Knight finally will be able to take him down, as Kellen turns up but isn't able to offer too much of anything at all at level 5. And BNK just lose another one.
Yep, and exactly. That's the code.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And right now he is, but he's in this bottom lane. Let's see what he can make of this, though, as the Arc of Judgment comes down. Decent polymorph there from On, but I think he knows that he's going to be going down. Hostile takeover, not really working, though, and there's the wild growth onto himself. Viper now in a little bit of trouble, but he stands his ground and does get a bit of work done, and Diablo unable to find it in the 2v2. Protect the President is what this is going to be all about. Yep. So convincing BLG to stop killing their side lane turrets is going to be their task.
It will. First and die. And lose the Maiden, so could be a bit harder for Viper, who I think has struggled to find space.
Well, Viper is looking for a little bit of an angle here. Aggressively uses the barrier as they look to try and get this Lulu out of there. The flash out with a flash forward from Diablo as he locks down the kill. The immediate trade, though, comes in as Knight says, no, this is not a 2v2, buddy. Nope. And they lie on the floor. 2 extra members of support coming on through, but it's the World Championship.
Well, you have to convince him not only that, because we've tried that before, but you have to convince him it's like finals or something.
Whoa, that's a flash forward. There's the handshake as he finds the hostile takeover. Never mind, flash out from On to avoid that one, as now the pillar comes in. Great wild growth as Raptor has to flash to get himself out of the way. Viper is still very scary. The flash wizard advance comes in. The bailout, is it going to be enough? Yes, it is! As Knight is eaten by the Trundle, but the nature is grasping, and they're looking to try and answer this one back. Viper with these ricochets is trying to take them out, and Diablo, he survives for a while, but doesn't even get to the blast cone, as BLG will answer.
BLG do answer back there. That was really risky for a moment. When Raptor got that bailout, you just started to think, oh my god, are they actually going to win the fight here? Vikla going back in on, but you got no one around you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, as Clear is going to show up, but he's back into Minina as he turns up, and Viper is getting another kill. 2-1 and 2 now on the Siva. And I was saying that he may not necessarily be able to carry in the same way. Well, maybe I'm going to have to take that.
At the end of the day, it did not matter. BLG get the reinforcements, do win the fight, and Bin going to be able to knock down a tower here, so nearly 4,000 is the gold lead now.
Well, now Knight is going to have to deal with this pillar. Let's see whether he's going to be able to keep himself alive, and they just kill him. He was trying to be a little bit tricky there, but we're going to have a look at the comparison between Vikla and Knight here in our Coinbase gold grind.
I think you will be able to grab it, but Bin is coming as well, and Knight has no DP because he used it to try to get out.
I think maybe they want to find a team fight as a heroic entrance is going to deliver them in. That's phenomenal avoidance there out of Shun as Viper dashes his way back. He doesn't dash, he just wanders his way back. Doesn't have a whole lot of mana, though, is now Clear, looking to try and get himself out, and that is the Rift Herald going over to BLG. So like you said, speaking too soon can be dangerous. I've got Erha.
Nope, they do not, and they will be able to knock down this tower here, BLG. Getting another outer. Bin is up towards that top side, and Vikla is basing. There's no TPs available, so top side tower is going to be gone as well. Knight is up there to cover, so is Shun. So that is all 3 outers now going to be claimed here in quick succession by BLG. About 5K now in the gold lead, and 3.5.
A little bit of a bait attempt, you could imagine, out of Raptor there. They do manage to get the subjugate out of him, but this outer turret is going to fall, and BNK going to take a bit of a chunk out of that. So Diablo agrees. That's why he went back to change the build.
Wait. You can just do that? You can just get an Infinity Edge like that?
Well, Vikla did realize that he could leave via a flash, but Nature's Grasp is still going to connect, even though he buffered the Justice Punch very, very well. Still, this is a very sticky Maokai, and the Polymorph comes on down. A very dead Galio now, as Bin is the one to pick that one up.
Yep, going to be able to get that kill. Diablo going to try to push in mid, but Knight has already cleared out the wave. So it's just going to be the trade on top side. Clear going to be trying to knock down that tower, and will not be an objective bounty as that has fallen, but is going to be some more gold going into their pockets, trying to keep Clear relevant because he's going to have to be able to answer Yorick eventually in these side lanes. Here's TP.
Yeah, BLG making their way up, going to leave Shelly in that bottom lane. She's the one that's split pushing now as Knight gets over. Looks for them distortion damage as Bin trying to get on in there as Shun. That Bramble Smash was massive. The Maiden, the only one hit by the hostile takeover, as Shun not really getting a whole lot done with that wild growth thanks to On, as now Diablo doing his best to get the DPS numbers high, but the rest of his team are just getting obliterated. However, we're trying to make our way out is Vikla, but not able to heroically exit that one. The Winds of War from the grave helping out as now Diablo tries to stand his ground, but it does not work, and they just eviscerate them. BLG, a huge team fight towards the top side, and once again, there is a Baron waiting for them.
Right by the Baron, they're going to knock this down as well. That fight was a mess from BFX here, as Diablo, he got blast going over the wall. I'm not sure if that was intentional. It looked like they were kind of hesitating there. He got knocked away from his team, and then the hostile takeover from Kellen is thrown only at Bin, only hits the Maiden, when all of BLG were running up a tight corridor right to the side of him.
I feel like there was
here. They're going to grab the Dragon, move to Soul Point, and this one feels all but wrapped up for BLG, which would set us up. All right, we'll sit down. We'll take a breather.
There was a pit stop in there at some point. Ouch. All right, yeah, that's a lot of damage out of Viper as Kellen throws out the hostile takeover. Vikla trying to look menacing. That may keep his bottom lane alive, but maybe not for long, as they do manage to avoid the Nature's Grasp. But yeah, clear not exactly so lucky.
He just flashed into the Nature's Grasp.
Yeah, kind of broke my brain.
I'm not sure if he was trying to like block that for Vikla or what he was thinking, but
yeah, was it heroism? It might have been heroism.
It was attempted heroism. We'll go like that.
It didn't work, as the inner turret will now be taken down. It is just clear that's dead, but the health bars were way too low, so BLG will be able to just push this one in.
Kind of like that movie, you know, watching a movie and someone sacrifices themselves, and you're like, you all could have just left.
Yeah, like
God, fine. like, no, I'll stay behind. Like,
and they spent 15 minutes having the last conversation. It's like, dude, just get on the plane.
We can leave at any time. No one has to die here. No, I'll do it. I love you.
Oh, it's so dramatic.
Yeah.
All right. Some of those are beautiful moments, though. Let's have a look, see whether BLG are going to have their moment as they look to push in a couple of lanes. Handshake is going to connect. That's decent, but problem is there's not a whole lot of options here, as Knight can just dash in with impunity. And Diablo, he's within kill range here. If Knight ever gets in range, that is just a dead Yunara, and then BNK's composition just falls apart.
It does, and we'll see if they're going to be able to find any way into this. It doesn't really feel like there's a realistic chance, though. They don't have any sort of real hard engage. I do think that the Renata has really struggled to find value. Clear going to try to look here for Viper.
All right, bit of a gargoyle delivery here as Vikla comes on in as well, but they don't find too much joy with the knockups as Viper is just kiting Clear out of the way, and he just dies. The wild growth is fantastic there as well as BLG front to back as they put them down again. It's a triple here, make it a quadra for Viper this time as he has finally arrived at First Hand 2026, and BLG will deliver us some silver scrapes, the very first best of 5, and we go the distance here as the Nexus will go down.
Maybe it's
okay, the only thing we know is Caitlyn is not jungling, even if she is theoretically in that position now. Yeah, so far, exactly. Unless it is Camille's spot, because that was also
an entrance there from Kellen, well timed, and a good sidestep.
Yeah, avoiding that Peacemaker was kind of crazy. As there is a flash on forward as Diablo with the barriers trying to keep himself alive, lit on fire as they realize that they've just got to go all in if they're going to win this. But there's first blood. Diablo saves Vikla. He's not going to get first blood in 5 in a row. Into my retinas.
All right, well, Vikla on the roam.
With a Randuin's in hand as well, which is kind of fun. Bubble is going to connect onto Shun. As Battlestar lands as well. Heroic charge, though, and yeah, he's going to have to get out of there. Gets shielded up, the double battle dance, and he gets out! That's not the Vikla I know, but Raptor is going to pick up his mantle.
And that was tragic, and things going bad there.
Is it getting better, Azel? Is it going to get better? Well, hookshot comes on forward. Lightning Rush is not going to save Clear here as he will go down. There is the answering kill, though, as On is going to be taken out by Raptor. And so 1-for-1, not too bad.
Nicely done there.
All right. Let's, Raptor. Gonna face check, and there is a shock blast from Bin as well. Flash out, decent, avoids it to the skies. But once again, On is here, and this time Knight is gonna be the one to take down the kill. Raptor is going to be secured, and BLG continuing to be in the lead as far as these kills are concerned. But the fighting is just not ceasing.
Nope, and Raptor, you know, he's bringing the camps to Shun. He is the camp at this point. Shun does not want to fight, and he is not going to have to.
All right. Kellen gonna have to flash to get himself out of the way, but the heroic charge is going to be there, and Shun just lays the lollipop down. Everyone is the main character of this game for a little while. Trying to keep her down is going to be very, very important. Is Q going to connect there on to on? There's the bubble as well. Steadfast presence is pretty good. The Battlestar goes wide though, and now Diablo doing his best to keep the damage up. There's the knock-up, but the follow-up just isn't there. On still ticking. One last one not going to be enough as Knight is able to take down Raptor. Shun limping his way out as well, but all of BLG keep themselves alive. My goodness, On is just, he's a psychopath.
And he's going to clear out some of this vision for him to just continue allowing him to bully this lane.
Yeah, Kellen is going to turn up and at least try to protect clear for the moment, but the grand entrance is avoided. He flashes in. Bin is going to die, and that was probably a mistake. But I do like the vibe, you know, the idea,
that was
the gusto.
bold.
Yeah, Kellen's now really dead. On's going to be able to lock down that kill. And the ends.
And he does get taken down, but still, it is an over 2,000 gold lead.
Well, now a teleport towards this bottom side of the map as Knight is going to be showing up. There is the snap trap as Kellen able to survive here as well. In goes On, but Knight was here a little bit too late. And so B&K able to...
And BLG going to take a dragon as the prize on the other side. Again, is that...
And so that will help extend that gold lead for BLG. And I think already this is a composition it's strange. It feels like a very Game 5 of Fearless type draft as, oh my goodness, Kellen's just dead.
Yeah, you got locked down by that CC.
Oh no, it's not a time to get sleepy, Bin, as the Battlestar comes on forward. And the auto from Vikla is going to be enough to take him down in the end there. So B&K answering very, very quickly. As their support was down, Vikla picks up a barrier and is just going to throw that one out. And B&K realizing that they have to get on this patch as well.
Yep.
So going to be building some stuff in the base.
Yep, and oh, Bin is behind him, but both junglers are here.
Yeah, there's the Slicing Maelstrom one more time. Let's see whether Kellen can get here in time as the ulti misses from Shun, and that is going to be the end of Bin. Clear goes in, finds it. There's the quickness as well. As the trouble bubble comes down, everyone's joined as Vikla dashes forward and finds the angle. Knight trying to do what he can as he's got the tether out, but Raptor gets out, breaks those chains, goes back in and destroys him. Viper, though, he's going to be able to find some pot shots as On will knock them all out, and Raptor looking for that angle, but Viper just shoots him. A gun is going to be the answer here as Kellen gonna have to make his way out. Nice
initial play there from FearX, but BLG are able to respond to it. Diablo is pushing down on bot side. They're trying to get something else here, but Viper just got paid. Is going to be able to knock down this tower. Will be first tower. All that gold going into Viper's pockets. He's now 1.6. They just don't have the spells. They don't have the cooldowns to actually really threaten the Caitlyn at this point. So you won the early part of the fight, and someone made an oopsie.
Yeah, I think Shun just, oh, is it? Oh, we didn't even see! As Kellen going in and tries to get himself out. He is going to be successfully able to do that. On is dead as Knight, one more shot will do it. That deadly flourish wasn't enough, but it is going to be the shutdown over to Vikla. Immediately that one's answered though, as B&K are finding it. It's Viper that's down. Shun is just going to evict Raptor, but Clear is still here. Diablo there as well. That Shun, he runs pretty quick, so he'll be able to make his way out. And in the meantime, Bin is like, I'm glad no one's around me. I'm going to not die and take a turret.
Well, we'll see. They might stay around because they want to try to stop this dragon take here by Raptor. Raptor doesn't really have any support just yet, so Diablo is going to have to come over. Kellen got out of that fight with, I want to say, sub 50 health. Yep. He is back now, though, and has purchased his Mikhails, so that is going to be ready and really powerful. Shun going to drop the Battle Herald.
Yeah, let's see whether Shun can actually steal this one away, as he's not going to be able to do that, but On goes in, finds the Hextech ultimatum, and now Shun is going... But On's already dead, and Raptor can follow this one, and although not anymore, it's well out of range. As Vikla showed up. So it is just On dead and Shun just taking a bit of a ride.
Yeah, and it's a wasted Herald. So the Herald doesn't...
Caitlyn on maximum items is also absolutely devastating. She's just got such long range on those auto attacks. As now Bin, he got a little bit tired there momentarily, but Vikla doesn't quite find the paddle star, goes to sleep. And Bin is going to be able to at least survive. On was trying to get on in there, but Raptor did tag in there with a Sonic Wave.
And Knight now has a rocket belt here for himself, so a little bit more mobility to be able to, either dodge a skill shot or to get in there on these fights.
As Hextech ultimatum comes down, as On is underneath the outer turret in mid lane. He is going to die, but he takes Diablo with him. Now Clear looks for the angle. They do take another kill as now Clear is trying to find even more. The Sonic Wave doesn't quite land, but that W did so much work out of this cannon. Viper is going to be able to take him down in the end as Vikla needs to do what he can. Viper finally will fall, but not before picking up a triple kill. And Vikla always had to go back to that portal jump, so Bin is going to put him in the ground. And BLG, the last team standing in that one.
Yeah, it's an ace at the end of the day here for BLG. They full send it on to
These fights are actually underway. B&K's composition just doesn't work as well as BLG's, right? B&K need to be fighting around windows where they land a trouble bubble, get a pick, something like that. They're looking for a pick here on Tonight, but he has that black shield. There's the tether as well. Shun's going to make his way in. Doesn't quite get the stun onto Kellen, as now they look for it. There's the slicing maelstrom from Clear, but he's likely to go down as it's the Caitlyn in once again. And the consistent damage that we were talking about is Viper in this game. He picks up a double, and I think he heard the people talking about the first 3 games of this series, and he is looking absolutely fantastic in this one. 8-3-3.
And that could very well be Baron. Are they going to start it? They're not going to elect to just yet. I mean, they killed Raptor and Clear had no TP, so I thought they might have looked for it, but they want Vikla.
Yeah, that is Ace in the hole coming on down. Vikla is very dead, ladies and gentlemen. Over the wall goes on, and that is Viper able to grab that pod shot to make it 9-3-3.
I mean, he's going to base, he's going to have IE, he's going to be on his way to the next item there, where you're going to start seeing defensive. Much to BLCK fans' dismay.
Indeed. Well, Kellen possibly caught out here. Does have the quickness in order to get himself out, but Viper is absolutely on a rampage. And Raptor with not much of an opportunity here. Hexgate gets Clear out as he was looking for a flank angle, but it didn't quite work. Some pot shots being taken here by Diablo, but they're not really doing anything at all. Yeah, that beach ball.
Best possible opportunity you can find.
Well, this inner turret is not long for the world. That will be taken down. Some Deadly Flourish poke is coming on through, but the Shock Blasts are hurting so much more from Bin.
Chance they can actually steal this away. They just don't have any damage, right? Like, who's going to kill the Baron? Even if you go for a Baron sneak, your Jin's not going to do it. Your Zoe's not going to do it. Your Kennon's not going to do it. So it will be very, very slow. But they just give up the Dragon. They try to clear out a little bit of vision, get what you can on that top side, which is, unfortunately for them, very little. And you just try to live to fight another day. See if you can find something in one of these big fights coming up soon.
Well, that damage graph is pretty Viper-focused, as we can see here. Steadfast Presence does get Shun in, but that does wear off, so Raptor is able to safeguard his way out. B&K are just doing their very best to put out fires here, but unfortunately the Inferno rolls forward. BLG now looking at this top inner turret. Shock Blast does go a little bit wide there momentarily, but Shun just kind of by himself is a wall that B&K cannot get past.
He's level 15. He is higher level than Vikla, and he is not threatened.
Hextech Ultimatum does come down, and I think that on... No, never mind. Not going to die. Just going to take a nap. And the Deadly Flourish, sorry, is going to get blocked. And so he survives once again. The curtains have been called, but I think we know whose curtains they are that we're going to have to worry about in this game. As BLG just going to make their way out. They've taken the inner turret. That is good enough for them.
Yep, BLG fully in control, picking up some of these defensive items as well. You can see Knight is working in towards Black Shield on whoever you engage on. You have to come from behind them because look at that. That's one shot. Yeah. One auto onto Vikla, and he loses half his health.
Well, on going in once again as Kellen, speaking of, yeah, he is just very dead. Shouldn't going to be able to help lock down that one. Shock Blasts are doing so much work. The flash out from Raptor is going to allow him to stay alive. But without Kellen, it's going to be so much more difficult.
And Clear is going to spot it, so maybe this is where they draw the line in the sand.
Let's see whether they can find the angle, but Raptor's not going to be able to get here, so they're not going to be able to steal this one away. That is going to be the Puppey locking it down. On taking a fair bit of damage, though, and BLG, they do not want to overextend. They're happy to take their prize.
Though, so it is just going to be a given up soul, not even going to try to contest, but now it is going to be Hextech Soul. It's Baron, it's 10K in the lead. So by the time they actually take a fight, I just think there's not going to be any fight to have, you know? Everything is going to be finished as far as these luxury items, as far as these defensive items are concerned.
Well, it is feeling like a priceless moment here for BLG as they do hit that coveted soul. Out goes on as well. He is going to be able to keep himself alive. I just don't see there being much of an angle to get back into this one for B&K Furex, unless there is some sort of miracle. That inhibitor did not last very long at all.
Kelvin almost got one shot by a Caitlyn auto. He lost about 90% of his health.
Yeah. Headshot rapid fire cannon combo is just kind of absurd when it does come on through. Shun just clearing out all of the vision here as well. Even the turrets just dead. Vikla, speaking of which.
Yeah, I mean, they just, whoa, that was actually close.
That portal jump scared me a lot.
They just can't even walk forward. They're just giving up everything. I mean, you can't give up every tower, everything, though, and expect to really have a shot. But there's not really a clear way in. They have no vision. I mean, look at the map. There's no wards at all. They have nothing on the map, so they have no way to go for a TP, and you cannot win a fight where you're walking straight at them. Just look at these shot blasts. It's crazy.
Well, Clear is looking for an angle here, but Vikla is very dead. And there's the Dark Binding connecting. Clear in by himself. And will be able to do a bit of damage, but I don't think he's killing anyone. As the rest of BNK, they try their very best. Diablo stays alive, but he's the only one able to post that as Raptor is going to get caught. Tries to do some funny business in order to get himself out. But I think that was the last gasp here for BNK FearX. And BLG, in 5 games, will be able to take the first best of 5 of this tournament and look to continue on in the upper bracket. It's not the last you've seen of BNK FearX, but it was a long one. They made sure that BLG fought for it, but it will be the LPL first seeds taking the first.
The same kill threat that many other junglers do possess. Aurora and this Corki are going to be those primary threats. And it's important for Team Secret to keep them healthy, I think that Histo's going to have to path his way back up to top, but he's looking to contest this crowd. His bot lane does not have Prio.
Okay,
That's at level 4 though.
Yeah, he's got the extra level advantage over Skewmon, and immediately, as soon as he sees the G2 jungler on the approach, goes in for the EQ combo. LeBron on the way now. Histo's got to be a little bit careful here. Down to 200 HP, but he does not get stunned into the wall by the magical binding here just yet. Histo on the run. D-Ray's about to fall. BA reinforcing, trying to shield him up there with a battle dance. Over the wall goes Histo, but into the ground goes the mid laner. D-Ray falls, and Caps gets first blood.
The pings just continue to come down. So just really great awareness from the G2 side.
Yep, and we still don't have level 6 on either one of the junglers just yet, so not quite enough playmaking to make anything happen on the other side. Histo does now have the Cataclysm available. We'll see if maybe he wants to try to do anything against Broken Blade up there in the top side. He is heading towards that direction as Pun summons up the Ornhorn, goes in for the stun on Broken Blade, who flashes away from it. However, the second cast still lands on him as Histo is ready to keep this one going here with the Cataclysm. Broken Blade tries to get away, but one more Dragon Strike seals his fate.
A couple skirmishes, a couple small fights here and there, but Team Secret haven't really found the fights that they've been looking for. TP comes back through from Caps, the bot lane. Ooh, LeBron, hang on a minute.
Yeah, LeBron goes on a magical journey, but it might be a little bit too far. BA and Eddie, now with some firing time onto Hans Sama. LeBron stays alive, but only with 100 HP as Histo kills off Skewmon here to the top side. Pun going for the Ornhorn, knocks out Broken Blade, but Caps might be able to find not just 1 kill, but maybe 2. Broken Blade about to die. Double kill over to Histo. Caps wants to get something back, and he's already found the kill on the D-Ray. Wants to get another one to Histo to recharge the Spirit Rush. Flashes over the wall. Has the Foxfire. Tron for the double kill. Caps with one more Spirit Rush.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Caps is the player that EU often puts their hope and faith in. He is the man that is represented us so well. LeBron call out, no flash.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot committed here as they want to go ahead and use the Rakan ultimate. LeBron does get knocked down. BA takes...
they can take. And instead they're being a little bit more tactical in their approach. The kills are in their favor, 4-3 after finding that extra pick onto LeBron, and knowing that a fight around Dragon isn't going to happen, Broken Blade just drops his ulti in the top lane to clear that wave out.
And I feel like
while the gold is, I mean, the gold advantage is basically just sitting on Caps. That's what the gold difference is. And in terms of itemizations, it's not that significant. Oh, hang on a minute.
D-Ray does find himself in range of the Vi ulti, but BA's trying to protect him. Skewmon ends up picking up the kill, and BA might be number 2. G2 brought more men to the party, and BA falls to the charm. Caps is on a rampage, and G2 is up 2,000 gold. Histo tries to get something back. He goes in for the EQ engage. Cataclysm to follow it up. That was a little bit audacious coming out from the Secret Whales jungler, but LeBron has to flash away because the magical journey was misplaced. Now Skewmon taking a ton of damage from Eddie. Histo's very low. Hansama wants to get the kill. Eddie's underneath the enemy turret. He misses the rocket. Team Secret Whales, what are you doing? Caps!
Hansama arrives lives. And look at that charm. Eddie thinks he can flash auto, and Broken Blade flashes top.
Yeah, Broken Blade flashing out of the way, also dodges the secondary knockup coming in from Pun, but now Between Worlds should be enough from D-Ray. They will secure the kill. Meanwhile, bottom side, BA's in trouble, and a last little bit of damage needs to find him to the Mystic Shot, and Han Sama finds his second kill of the game. So even though Secret Whales find their mark up here in the top lane, they'll also get the first turret right after. G2 is going to respond with a kill of their own, as well as a turret take of their own down here in the bottom lane. Since Caps is on the split push, they've got the one Void Gruff with a little bit of extra damage, and G2 remains 3,500 gold for Broken Blade and for D-Ray.
Wards, very deep wards. Already the TP is going to be committed from Broken Blade.
Okay, he immediately arrives, but there's the Tempered Fate to stuff the engage. Pun gets the Ornhorn, but not on any value targets. Broken Blade's in the middle of everybody, and the burst damage comes through. Team Secret Whales already found one kill, but now Pun is soaking a ton of damage. Skewmon takes him down. It's a 1-for-1 thus far. LeBron wants to get away, but he misses his Cosmic Binding. A double kill on a D-Ray. A dunk from his toe. A triple kill for the mid laner of Team Secret Whales. The Rift Herald summoned up here in the mid lane right after. G2 loses the fight, and Team Secret Whales.
Team Secret right in the middle lane. Team Secret don't waste any time. This is their go button. Jarvan is standing waiting, connects the EQ. LeBron tries to buy time. A good ulti from Pun. Zones 3 members away. Caps only just now arrives to the fight. Connects a charm on the Pun. He's tanky enough to... I mean, he does end up losing his life, turning in for 1-for-1, but then Tira's like, okay, I see these low health members. I think I can get something back. His toe doesn't waste any time either, getting a kill of his own. I stand corrected. D-Ray secures that one.
Twofold Hex.
The triple kill comes through, and while that gold lead is still there for G2, it's dwindled. 3.4 before, 2 points for himself the death cap, and so the Dark Seal also stacking up for him. I'd be surprised if he goes for a Magi this late, Hans.
Okay, BA below half health, his toe flashes away. If that charm would have hit him, it would have been certain death as G2 forces down the tier 1 turret, but now D-Ray ready to get some damage here on Hans. Pun takes the kill, and the G2 AD carry is already down. D-Ray is low, Skewmon looking for a little bit more damage. LeBron goes in and finds the kill on the enemy mid laner. Skewmon got to try to get away now as his toe looks for more damage. Eddie is incredibly low, and Broken Blade on the flank burns him down. Pun in the middle of 4 now, has to try to get back. Capped at only 400 HP as G2 have found yet another, and they just out-team fight Secret Whales.
A scrappy affair in the middle lane as Hans Sama gets caught out. Isolated from the rest of his team, Team Secret see an opportunity to perhaps convert this into something more. Rejoins, but now Team Secret overstay their welcome as we're back into the action.
D-Ray with a quick burst onto Caps there, about half the HP from the Ahri. Sidesteps away from the charm here too critically, but D-Ray also low now. One more charge on that Spirit Rush is enough for Caps to be able to walk away. They don't want to overcommit onto the Ahri while he still has that. Meanwhile, Broken Blade going for a teleport, and it's G2 looking for the counter punch now. D-Ray low, his toe low. Hans Sama's the focus, but they can't find the Ezreal this time. Broken Blade with a flame spitter takes out the mid laner right afterwards, and G2 pick off 2 critical kills. The enemy mid laner down, the enemy jungler down. Baron is on the Rift, Ezreal.
Absolutely. I think this is an easy objective start. With no jungler, no smites, there's no way for Team Secret to contest this objective.
And Hans Sama's Ezreal staying alive, so they have the DPS to take this down super easily. He was the focus once again. This is exactly what G2 want. Caps and LeBron can zone everybody else away. Skewmon, Hans, and Broken Blade have plenty of damage to secure this objective. 6,500 gold lead is truly a problem. He's also getting closer and closer to level 16. Still most of that EXP bar to go, but considering D-Ray is only level 13, 15 feels plenty good here on the Ahri as G2 now mounts a multi-lane assault. Bottom lane, it's Caps, Skewmon, and LeBron forcing the wave into the tier 3 turret. Meanwhile, back in mid, Broken Blade dealing with the tier 2 at the same time. G2 4-1 split now with Broken Blade in the mid lane, everyone else down here bottom. Team Secret Whales has to respond to trying to keep the base integrity intact, which means the tier 2 mid is sacrificed, and we're up to a 7,500 gold lead.
Yeah, I mean, nowhere to really stay relevant in this game because with the advantage that G2 have, it feels like that we already need to be thinking about game 2.
Yeah, this is real tough. I guess if you're looking for silver linings, if you're Team Secret Whales, you're saying, all right, that previous fight that we won 5 minutes ago, inhibitor turrets in 2 out of 3 lanes, and now you can see the G2 pings going onto the tier 2 turret up there in the top side. They want to remove the last standing structure outside of the enemy base. His toe down to a quarter HP. He's going to have to go all the way back to base, but the Tempered Fate finds him in the middle of the EQ combo. His toe still tries to get away, but Caps says no. G2's already found 1 kill, and now they want more. Eddie uses the Valk over the wall, but Skewmon is ready to chase him. The Corki's under pressure, but Skewmon had gone too far. Never mind, he's doing all right. Pun drops, and Skewmon survives. The Triumph keeps him alive as D-Ray barely hobbles away here as well. Lebrov, Skewmon, D-Ray all at death's door, but it's his toe and Pun, the only 2 who fall in the fight. He's only a measly 1,000 up over his opponent, but it's all set on the gold graph right there. It's just pure red as G2 have absolute control over the game. Skewmon and Caps looking for Pun now, but the counterattack from Team Secret Whales is there. Tempered Fate to protect the G2 players. Lebrov shows up and keeps Caps alive. Skewmon continues the pressure forward as Pun dies, covering the retreat. Team Secret Whales lose 2, and now it's a 5v3 push coming out from G2 down here in the bottom lane. Caps wants another charm, but he can't quite find it. Team Secret Whales, they're scrambling, trying to stay alive. Skewmon goes in, but he's pretty far forward. His Guardian Angel's going to protect him. He will res. They will not be able to secure the kill on that one, and it buys enough space, it buys enough time for G2 to take.
The Baron is quickly falling. Lebrov has to be careful, but he's going to magical journey his way to safety.
Yeah, he only loses, what, 10% of his HP there, and then heals back most of it with the Caretaker Shrine. As Team Secret Whales, now they've given up the Baron. They continue retreating back towards their own base. 15 seconds on the Drake, and all G2 has to do is send a single player over there. You can secure the Ocean Soul for free, or maybe they don't even want to bother. Maybe they do not care. They would rather just 5-man press this mid lane right now as they go for the tier 3 turret. They should be able to find plenty of damage onto that one with the Baron Enchanted Cannon minion. Pun going for the Ornhorn. Tempered Fate onto Hans Sama to try to protect him from the follow-up engage from Team Secret Whales. Skewmon is into the back line. G2, Hans Sama's already down. Skewmon in a little bit of danger now as Team Secret Whales look for a little more damage, but Caps is already godlike. The Whales don't have the damage. G2's just stronger, and everybody's dropping except for Eddie as G2 get 4 for 1. Team Secret Whales, they'll throw everything in the kitchen sink at Hans Sama, and man, they'll get him, but at what cost? G2 marching on to the Nexus turrets now. Lebrov goes on a magical journey through the Nexus, forces Eddie to flash back into his own fountain. He will barely survive the Ahri burst as G2 will march straight in. This game felt like theirs the whole way through. They were constantly finding opportunities. Players are willing to just pick wacky stuff.
Absolutely.
We're getting the Olaf into the Kled response from Broken Blade. Both of these champions, they just go Thunder Sticks. Everything's ready to rock and roll, and I'm ready for this game too.
Yeah, and remember last game we talked a little bit about how Team Secret looking to be the successors of CFO, right? We talked about how for this team, it's a lot of kind of responsibility falls on their shoulders. I have to interrupt Pun.
Yeah, it's a level 1 battle to the death here between the top laners as Broken Blade flashes away and Pun with the undertow flash level 1 only does like 50 damage. It's very hard to rely on it for a kill through a potion, even if that potion's healing is reduced. Beautifully done from Pun to secure that kill there in the solo lane.
Well, it's a kill.
Caps might just get solo killed by D-Ray, and he lives! He lives with had to have been single-digit HP. Team Secret Whales, 2 minutes into the game, have secured double solo kills. All right, D-Ray, that was a greedy as hell back. At least in North America, we have teams just completely torpedo their entire game over this crap.
Good, sir. You're about to see it right now. Here we go. It looks like the crab is just too far away.
Yep, a Hex Flash coming in from BA. Immediate dredge line onto Skewmon, who, remember, does not have level 6. There's no World Ender available, and D-Ray's coming in for what could be a perfect execution. Caps over the heroic entrance. Skewmon still alive with 100 HP. D-Ray takes him out. Lebrov very low. D-Ray tries to go back in, but he's going to 1-for-1 here with the enemy support. Hans is free firing, and Eddie gets a little bit of damage back. Both AD carries at death's door as Caps tries to become an alcove gamer. Winds of War take his toe very low. Justice Punch is not going to connect onto the enemy jungler. BA's now the one in trouble. He goes for the dredge line to buffer through the taunt as the Winds of War nearly kill Eddie, but close isn't close enough. LeBron is back in the mix, and it's another bloody battle, but Team Secret Wales is 1,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, I think that ended up being a 2-for-1 in favor of Team Secret, and the biggest reason as to why was Histo getting that level 6 and Akali having a level 6 as well. I love that we are seeing exactly what I want to be seeing.
Broken Blade maybe looking for a chance to make something happen in mid lane, trying to play around D-Ray, potentially being too aggressive. Grubs are going to spawn here in about 10 seconds as Caps finds himself trying to use the taunt to get away here, but a beautiful arrow coming in from Hans, and now what could have been a good play all of a sudden turns around. Skewmon picks up the kill on the enemy mid laner. Yes, Histo gets one back, but he's gonna die here too. G2 get a 2-for-1, and the enemy jungler, oh my, he has to die. There's no way he gets away here. I refuse to believe it. I absolutely refuse to believe it. There is no way in the world he gets away.
He's getting away. He's going to execute.
There's no way.
He's going to execute.
There's the timer.
That's enough time. That's enough. He's done it.
He's called the pack a little bit. No shot. His toe. I stand corrected. A 1-for-1 at the end of the trade. Hansama now though targeted by the depth charge, but a TP comes in to reinforce G2. BA's on the run, but the constant slow from Hans makes it difficult. Nice job from LeBron getting in the way of the dredge line. There's no escape for BA. They give the kill over to Hans, and G2 brings the game back to even.
Where are we starting this replay? Bot lane. Oh.
As now, G2 might have found their mark on the enemy bottom lane. D-Ray escaping some pressure in the mid lane at the same time, dropping the smoke to get away from Broken Blade and Caps, as they will now also head towards the bottom side of the map. Eddie and BA in some trouble. Eddie's your first target. Obviously, Misfortune's already down, and BA should be easy pickings afterwards. G2, they sent the whole crew, and they got what they came for. 2 kills for nothing. They'll take the gold lead.
I'm going to be honest. Broken Blade very much a spectator, as Pun is just getting more gold in the top lane.
It seems far harder for G2 to find a way to get to the enemy nexus, as Skewmon will secure that second Drake of the game. Popping up there, showing us the story of that top lane, and man, it's still looking really good for Pun, but meanwhile down here in the bottom lane, D-Ray could be in some trouble. Smoke screen going to protect him, still takes the damage from the third strike of the Darkened Blade, as Eddie in danger, forced to flash away, but the flash follow from Lebrov means that G2's bot lane duo find their target. Another kill.
Move eliminated, and this Braum pick really working out. Freljord coming up clutch as the TP now committed by Pun.
Okay, there's your Olaf, the full Ragnarok dive onto the Ashe. Ashe stays safe by kiting, but you cannot kite away from an Olaf in ulti. Hans does do some fancy footwork there, being able to vision juke him through the brush. Pun has now lost the Ragnarok, and G2's going in for the counterattack. Skewmon wants to burst down the Fed. Olaf and Broken Blade falls. Hans summons unstoppable. BA dies alongside his top laner, and Eddie and his toe try to escape back to the tier 1 turret. A game that was so close for so long. Honestly, Broken Blade has still only died the one time. The biggest thing is he's 0-1-0, so he hasn't been able to participate in any of the kills either, but now they might be able to change that as they immediately find the counterpunch onto Pun. Broken Blade stays alive for now, tries to escape from his toe, but the Nefiri makes it a 1-for-1 trade. Problem is, Skewmon's way stronger in this 1v1 afterwards. The arrow flies through, his toe sidesteps, it gets away for now, does stay alive. Second cast of the Hound's pursuit, and he wants to re-enter the fight. Immediately rethinks it though, continues his retreat back towards the tier 2 turret. So even though we get a trade of top laners, again, it's the Olaf that's been ahead the entire game, being traded for the Kled that's permanently behind. Caps versus D-Ray here on the top side. Flash into the brush from both. Caps with the Winds of War. Perfect execution from D-Ray. They're both so very low. Caps waiting to see if D-Ray overplays his hand, but it will not happen. So a close fight, but nobody dies. Problem for Team Secret Wales is G2 is looking for Soul Point, and they've already secured it, but the Whales have decided they want to fight. Teleports coming in from everybody. Hansama going to be under pressure. Pun and his toe have found the enemy carry, and now Skewmon's got to try to do something, but he does not have the World Ender from the previous fight. BA dies to Caps as G2's now found in the taunt. A lot of damage as his toe takes out Skewmon. Now Team Secret Wales need to find more. Caps falls too. LeBron's going to die next. G2 crashed the car straight into the ditch. It is a disaster with the Dragon fight as Team Secret Wales erase the gold lead.
The double teleport commitment from Team Secret allows them to come in from multiple flanks and pick apart G2. Broken Blade has found his toe. He's going to chase him over the wall.
Okay, but it's a 1-2-1 Kled. He just doesn't situations with that remount. As you can see, our lane economy snapshot here showing the top side of the map is all Team Secret Wales, but the bottom side is still G2. Broken Blade wants his kill onto Pun. Bear trap on a rope, and he's caught himself a Viking. His toe, BA, nobody from Team Secret Wales is around to try to save Pun, and I do believe that Broken Blade is going to feel pretty good about that one.
And while all of this is happening, Caps is solo in the top lane, securing a tower for himself, getting a little bit of gold back into his pocket. And Eddie, he wanted to push
now only 15 seconds away as everybody from both sides is preparing for a fight. Pun has gone through the Hex Gate. Lebrov is your target here at the start. Pun is already Ragnarok. He wants to go in after Han Sama, but they're just going to burst the Olaf down. Bullet time flying in over the top, but it's not hitting anybody of major value. Lebrov with the flashback over the wall. His toe's unstoppable. D-Ray tries to get away, but the Akali is getting focused. Skewmon and Broken Blade looking for something, but Hans is already down. Skewmon running out of World Ender as his toe also has to be careful. You can't lose your jungler here. You've got to make sure you maintain dragon control. Meanwhile, keep your eyes on D-Ray. He's going back to the base, but he has the Unleashed TP ready to rejoin. Eddie with the flash for the kill onto Skewmon. G2 is dying again. Remount comes in from Broken Blade, but he can't hit Eddie here with the bear trap on the rope. The damage comes through. Eddie lives. Team Secret Wales, eat him alive.
They find an ace against G2. The gold lead just doesn't matter to them. And I genuinely thought that Pun had driven way too deep into the back line. He dies so quickly. With the numbers advantage, I'm thinking to myself, oh, G2's just going to clean up this fight, get Soul, and get this game. But Team Secret, and his though in particular, finds... If he could get the death cap before the fight, he would be even happier, but I think he's a ways away from it. There's a bit of a skirmish is happening.
Yeah, top side, we've got a 1v1 between our mid laners, and Caps is winning it handedly. D-Ray down to about a quarter HP. Now Pun's got to be careful to not get caught by anything else. Enchanted Crystal Arrow misses, goes right through the uprights there, aiming for anybody on Team Secret Wales. As now the 4v4 really starts to break out. TP coming in from both mid laners. Bullet time getting a ton of value though from Eddie. As Pun has to try to get away. Lebrov is almost dead, and so is Broken Blade. D-Ray makes his way into the fight as his toe jumps back over the wall at the chicken pit. See Darkened Daggers flying out from his toe as the re-engage comes through from Broken Blade. Caps gets the kill there with a taunt as D-Ray jumps into the fight, hiding in the smoke now with a heroic entrance. Very much on the edge is D-Ray as G2 tries to get away. Perfect execution going for the kills as Eddie's already found one. Skewmon dies, double kill back over to Misfortune. It's a bloodbath here in this 5v5 battle. It's 2 dead on either side.
I'm genuinely shocked that Team Secret was able to make that fight work, because the start of the fight looked horrendous, but Pun was able to get back to base, TP back in full health. But the TP then comes back through from Pun. He rejoins. Oh, we're back in the action.
Yeah, we're already back into the fight as Lebrov's in the middle of everybody. Loses half HP. D-Ray on the flank looking for an opportunity. His toe call of the pack, dodging away from some of the CC. But now they're bursting down Skewmon. Aatrox is already out of the picture, but it's a 1-for-1 as D-Ray dies. Han Sama taking the kill, but his toe finishes off Lebrov. Broken Blade is targeted, flashes away, staying alive for now with the bullet time over the top. Nearly kills him. Han Sama trying to escape as Caps kills Pun. His toe wants a little bit more, but G2 is kiting. Another even battle, 2 for 2.
Both these teams able to just, oh wow, okay, the Winds of War, the Baron now started, here we go.
We're already back, and G2 has the Baron down to half HP. Team Secret Whale trying to stop it. Baron getting burned very low. It's secured by Broken Blade of all people, as now a beautiful arrow connects on the BA, but into the back line. Keep your eyes on D-Ray. His toe tries to jump in. Call the pack keeps him alive for now. He tries to get away, but he's down. D-Ray dies too. G2 get the Baron, and 2 incredible picks. Now it'll be 3. A double kill for Skewmon, and it's now a 5v2. This game balanced on a razor's edge, and it's G2 that find the winning cut.
For the entirety of this game, it was Team Secret that was faster at pulling off the fight. G2 felt like they were always on the back foot, but G2 were the ones deciding to start off that Baron. They successfully protect their AD carry, they secure the Baron, they secure the fight, and they may be looking to end the game.
The Samurai find the lethal strike, and Team Secret Wales are now left bleeding. The Nexus turrets out of the picture, the Nexus exposed. Eddie just trying to get back to the safety of the fountain, but it will not matter.
His build path compared to what we saw in the finals. But But yeah, okay, he's going to use it into a heavy auto-attack based champion. It does make sense. I don't think it's winning.
Like you were saying back in draft, it's not about the Shen being a counter pick into Jax where you're saying, yes, I'm going to destroy him in the 1v1 and win the lane, and especially not if Pun goes in like this. Flash from both top laners. Broken Blade trying to stay alive for now. Pun continues the chase. Leap strike with the empower.
Gets solo killed. And the wave is horrible, by the way, because it was stacked up right underneath this tower. It's now in a horrible position. Dire's made his way bot.
Yeah, D-Ray going in after Hans, who flashes forward. Hans knows he's going to die, and he wanted to make it a 1-for-1, but D-Ray denies it. Vedius in game number 2. We saw it start like this, and game number 3 is going to be the same way. His toe in the top lane. They give the kill over to Pun. Recover some of these early game blunders is try to look for a big clutch play through Stand United. Bait them into a bad situation. Use the Shen to turn it around, because Broken Blade's not going to win.
Look at them, the way they're playing. Dominance across the board. The top lane, the middle lane, the bottom lane. Every single individual finding plays. But now it's G2's turn.
Yep, Pun goes for the counter strike here. Wants to try to buy a little bit of time as his toe shows up, but Pun is going to drop. That's a shutdown going over to Broken Blade for some much needed relief as the gold lead shrinks down to 500 now. His toe was not close enough to turn things around, and nice moves from Broken Blade there, making distance between himself and his jungler so the counter-strike couldn't stun both of them. Meanwhile, Caps uses the shovel to knock D-Ray back into the turret, but then he steals it away and shuffles Caps backwards. But here's Stand United. This is what I was talking about, Vedius. This is how Shen gets back into the game, and we're all tied up.
And I mean, credit needs to be...
And we'll see if Team Secret Wales can continue trying to find angles to play aggressively. BA misses the play there onto Lebrov as D-Ray tries to join him here, but he misses the abduct. There's the death sentence also going wide. Team Secret Wales really wanting to commit to this. Skewmon using the subjugate to try to stay alive, but can the drain keep him going? No, D-Ray takes the kill, but now BA's in trouble as Hans summon Lebrov looking for a little bit more damage onto him, but Eddie shows up here into the fight now as D-Ray has to get away from Caps. Flash over the wall from BA, Hans ready to follow. BA wants to try to kill him, and the thresh takes him out as D-Ray gets the kill to Caps. Now he's gonna find another on Lebrov, and Team Secret Wales slam G2 for nothing.
What the hell?
Patience is the name of the game. Scale, 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 and then scale a little bit more.
Absolutely.
You've got the Azir with a Yunara and a Lulu and a Trundle, and they are going to have to find a way to make this game go further, because it's now a 2,500 gold lead for Team Secret Wales. D-Ray stealing away the Azir ulti to try to buy enough time to get himself out of this one. Skewmon, though, already has him subjugated. D-Ray is on the run. This is going to be a big shutdown if G2 can secure it. He is running away real quick. Skewmon does not have any ranged damage. However, he could still throw out a pillar. D-Ray just wants to execute. Abscond over the wall.
He's gone, mate.
Skewmon is trying to chase him. D-Ray's still on the run. He's just trying to... Is he going to actually try to escape? There's no way he tries. He wants to potentially turn it around. This is crazy mode. Flashes over the wall, but Skewmon just walks through the gate. And it ends up being...
this fight against the Trundle. Broken Blade has to commit his ulti, which means that he's then forced to TP back to top lane. Pun, though, he overstayed his welcome.
Broken Blade TP's back to a Pun that is very low health and completely out of mana. Broken Blade is now, though, met with his toe, and that's a Mundo. Pun tries to get out, but Broken Blade knocks him down. Surely the Shen will fall here, but he has already taken one with him. His toe has the... Does he have the red buff on the Mundo? I can't see under the brushes. No, he doesn't. Okay, Broken Blade, honestly, great moves from Broken Blade to secure the kill.
Now he's close to level 11, and the game is in a very interesting spot, Caps. You gotta be careful there, bro.
Yeah, D-Ray just jumps in after him, nearly gets the solo kill, but now Skewmon wants to get one back. It's Subjugate for Subjugate, and this time, it's not good enough to keep D-Ray alive. Caps provides the extra damage to make sure that D-Ray can't drain tank it. G2 again with an outplay, and once more, the Team Secret Wales gold lead that was over 2.5.
Finished across the board. You have to be most wary of the Jax, I feel. That Trinity Force being finished is a scary thing to be looking at, as Caps in a lot of danger.
Yep, does get stunned up by the counter-strike, but here comes Stand United. This one could get messy. D-Ray is already ready to jump in, though. He's got the Stand United of his own, but he might just drop the Broken Blade. One more auto attack's going to do it, but he gets pulled away to safety. Pun now also very low, but a nice death sentence coming out from BA. The MVP of this fight is the Thresh, as Broken Blade almost dies, but he still gets away. You gotta be kidding me. Nobody died on either side?
HP bars were blinking.
We're not done.
TP back, he's back in!
We're not done. D-Ray's coming back around. He sees all these low health bars and he will not allow them to escape. He wants to go after the Trundle. He needs to get the abduct and he lands it. Skewmond is down and that's the enemy jungler. So now Team Secret Whales will go after the Rift Herald. This series is delivered. I know that G2's up 2-0, but we are getting some crazy gameplay on the Rift, Edius.
Love the use of the TP once again from D-Ray. This man is what I would describe as fight-focused.
Okay.
Because in the midst of that fight, he is thinking about, how do I get back into the fight? And with that TP available, you know the punch shell.
Hyper carries, but we have what could be a dive here as his toe. Okay, his toe should have gave somebody else the keys. He was not fit for driving. He had a little bit too much Mundo juice, and that was just not the play he wanted.
Yeah, I mean,
nope.
So I got a knock up and it turned into a crazy play. And so I thought, okay, maybe there's something that I don't see. Maybe his toe has a play in mind, a line that I just can't comprehend, and I still don't comprehend it. Skewmond now goes to top lane.
Yeah, we can see Pun looking for the solo kill into Broken Blade, but you can't go for solo kills against Skewmond. He is a firefighter through and through.
Absolutely.
And he brings the hose top lane as now Eddie down to 400 HP. 20 minutes into the game, 30 seconds on the clock until Baron spawns. And remember back to game number 1 where G2 were completely dominant. They secured the Baron 21 minutes into the game. Both top laners really committing once again for those damage bars like we were talking about. Pun hits the counter-strike, a little bit more damage. You might kill him, no! Broken Blade with the outplay!
So he blocks 2 auto attacks, the flash from Pun, the timing from Broken Blade, and look at how frustrated he is. Oh, he was so close. We're back in the action!
We're already back into the action now as his toes down to half HP. Skewmond in the middle of everybody, but he's already got the Wild Growth staying alive for now. Pun looking to pressure into the back line as Skewmond is down to 100 HP, but Skewmond stays alive and Pun's the one who dies. Broken Blade is dominating as D-Ray gets shuffled into the middle of the fight, but Caps and D-Ray both die. Now it's a double kill back over to Broken Blade as he looks for Eddie. Got to be a little bit careful though. The Gravitum is ready to go. BA with the flash over the wall as Broken Blade still your target. Skewmond coming in here for the chomp. Looks for Eddie and they got him. G2 taking even more of the fight. Skewmond is unafraid of his toe. He continues looking for more as Hansama picks up BA and G2 gets themselves an ace for 1.
Straight out of a replay into an ace. G2 swinging.
Pressure now in the side lane. He's got the Titanic plus the Dusk and Dawn completed. So
he did this in the finals as well. And I mean, it's working out for him in terms of the skirmishing power.
Yep, and G2 has also now equalized the Drake count, picking up their plus the Stormrazor and the Executioners to cut some of the healing, particularly on Skewmond, I would think. Meanwhile, Hans has the Kraken plus the Fiend Hunter bolts, which is so good on these ultimate reliant AD carries. But now that the tier 1 turret dies in the top lane, D-Ray finds himself overextended. His toe's coming up to try to help him, but Mundo doesn't have any hard CC to assist in these situations, so Caps just picks up another kill. It's a 4,000 gold lead now for G2.
And I will say, I really do think that Skewmond has been the quiet standout in this game. Through all of the chaos, he's provided that stability. He's saved his laners countless times, and now he's threatening the Baron as Team Secret is forced to respond.
All right, they've got no mid laner. They got to figure out how to deal with this, but his toe's already nearly killed. Even as the Mundo, he stays alive a little bit longer, but he still dies at the end of the day, and Eddie falls next. Pun's in the middle of everyone, but that's not where he needs to be. He can't even get the kill on LeBron. The Lulu lives with 15 health. G2 are going to kill everybody except Lebrov, and now Skewmond and Caps will two-man the Baron, while Hansama and Lebrov push that mid lane turret themselves. Broken Blade just going to make sure that that wave stays pushed, making his way towards the tier 2. Hans moves over towards the Baron. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now once again a G2 game. Despite the early blunder in the lane, it is recovered wonderfully with the help of the team, and now G2, with their 8,000 gold lead, with their Baron buff for the next 2 minutes, are looking to form a split push threat. It's a 4-1 split with everybody except for Broken Blade forcing their way into the base here in the bottom lane. The first inhibitor turret already gone. Yeah, nothing's stopping them. Pun is still split pushing in the top side. G2 have already found their first inhib, and you can see Broken
TP still has the ulti ready. I mean, G2 getting a lot of value out of this Baron. Tower is falling one after the other. They've set their sights on the next inhibitor towers. 4-1. Once again, the setup. Shen ready with the ult. Azir ulti stolen away.
All right, 30 seconds remain on the Baron. Teleports coming in now, though, for Team Secret Whales. This is their final send to try to save their game state. Cap taking a ton of damage from Pun, but Histo and BA are also going to be knocked away from the fight. D-Ray in the middle of everybody, going golden here for a moment, trying to buy enough time, but Pun has run out of ammo, and Caps is able to fight him off all on his own. The Ophelio Salty doesn't find the result they're looking for. Meanwhile, Caps chasing after the enemy Jax. The arm guard will only buy him a moment. Stand United to guarantee that Caps wouldn't die there in the 1v1, and now that the enemy team has lost both solo lanes, G2 is looking to clean sweep the Vietnamese team. BA will not find a target with his death sentence. The Nexus turrets are about to crumble. First one's already down, and the top lane inhibitor will follow as Caps guarantees this one. Everybody left standing on Team Secret Whales just trying desperately to defend. BA hits a death sentence, but Hans is unfazed. One more auto attack might take him down. Meanwhile, at least Caps is removed by Eddie, but now G2 are onto the Nexus. The respawns coming in from the Whales will not matter. G2 trying to get a couple of extra kills on the way out, but they'll